Well, everybody, welcome back to the West Ham Network. If you are waking up this morning, you are in cloud cuckoo land. Why is that? Because if you're looking at the Premier League table, you are seeing West Ham sitting firmly on top. Mind the gap, Arsenal. Mind the gap, Chelsea. Mind the gap, Man City. Mind the gap, Tottenham. You name it. Every club down there, you mind the gap because West Ham are pert lovely on top of that Premier League. Many a West Ham fan doubted us in the first 6 games. Didn't even think we would have a point. We've walked away with 7 in the first 3. It's easy to get carried away, but why not? It's not very often that you can do this. However, it actually is. We've gone through our 3rd season of success. We're entering into our 3rd season. The last 2 seasons have been successful, and fingers crossed we can continue this motion of positivity, of winning mentality. That's the key point. And I'm here today to bring you the 5 things that we learned from the game against our beloved Brighton and Hove Albion, where West Ham did walk out as winners 3-1 away at the Amex. Yes, you have heard me correct. Away at the Amex. Now, stats can't lie. This is number 1. Well, can they or can't they? We go on about stats all the time. You know, we pride ourselves sometimes in bringing you lots of analytical information. We like to bring that to your forefront. We always like to give you all of the information when we talk about the games, what the scores were, who had the most assists, who had the most possession, who had the most passes. You name it, we bring it to you. And if you look at this game, you would think it was a dominant display from Brighton and they should have walked away with the scoreline in their favour. 78% possession to Brighton, 25 shots, 10 on target. They outpassed West Ham dramatically. They had 749 passes, of which 89% of them were accurate. They were accurate in 71% of their long balls, 24% of their crosses, and that's how the rest of the game goes. And in comparison to their 749 passes, West Ham had 208, of which 68% of those were successful, but only having 22% possession in the game. But essentially, it's a results business. And what happens? West Ham were effective. West Ham were a unit. West Ham defended well together. West Ham counter-attacked well together. And West Ham took our chances. 12 shots, 7 on target. And we put 3 of them in the back of the net. Stats can lie. Stats can lie. They absolutely can lie. Put your comments in. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Number 2, don't doubt Antonio. Oh my days. Like, I do it on a regular basis every season. And I don't actually think I do it compared to a lot of other people dramatically. But sometimes I just feel so let down about his final third. But see, when people doubt him, it seems to give him that engine. It seems to give him that aspirations to succeed. Because my word, he caused Brighton problems all game yesterday. He was solid. He was confident. He was creating chances for himself, sometimes from nothing. He chased that ball down that led to James Ward-Prowse getting himself his first goal in a West Ham shirt, all because James Ward-Prowse did start the opportunity, but Antonio, my word, just didn't give up chasing that ball. He had 26 touches, 70% success rate in his passing. But the key element here was he won most of his ground duels. I'm talking about stats and I'm contradicting it straight away. But he did win all of his ground duels, and you could see that, and he caused them problems all game long. Antonio fits the system. You might hate it. You might have a love-hate relationship with him, but currently he fits the system. What excites me is you bring someone else in, like an Enesri, who fits the system as well, not a Gianluca Scamacca. Listen, I think Gianluca Scamacca would have been great for West Ham. It just didn't work out. But if you bring in an Enesri, then oh my days, you've got an Antonio. You've got an Antonio and someone else on the bench. You've got Divine Mubama. Oh my days. Oh my days. The guy's played 3 Premier League games this season for West Ham, scored 2 goals, and he's been effective. He's been heavily effective. And bagged himself an assist as well. It's not bad at a day in the office, is it, for Mr. Mickey Antonio when he was heading to Saudi Arabia or Wolves? I doubt that's happening. I doubt very much so that is happening. Next up is number 3. Areola was world class. I mean, what do I even need to say about this guy? 9 saves in this game, of which I could honestly say 7 of them were world class. 7 of them were world class. The game really had a little bit of a mixture of Areola in it. You know, we went and spilled the ball a couple of times, but essentially his world class ball stopping was unbelievable. This man single handedly kept us in this game. 9 saves, of which, like I said, 6 or 7 of them were world class, kept them at bay. They could not get that ball by him. Man mountain, distribution really good, always fast thinking, good kicking today, good throwing out, and getting West Ham on a trajectory of positivity from the back line. They love him. Look at the picture, look at the unity within the squad. It's amazing to watch. Top day at the office for Alfonso Areola. Next up, we have squad, and not just squad depth, but quality in our squad depth. That's something we have been missing and crying out for such a long time. I genuinely mean that. We have been crying out for squad depth for such a long time. Today, we didn't even start with Saeed Bin Rama, but he came off of the bench to take over Tommy Suchek when Tommy Suchek went off with a concussion. On top of that, we brought Tilo Kira on, we brought Pablo Fornals on, and we brought Danny Ings on. And the rest of the players on the bench, are you ready for this? Fabianski, Ben Johnson, Aaron Creswell, Divine Mubama, and Maxwell Corney. All positive options, with one player missing, Naif Agerd, and a couple of more players coming in. There is quality in our squad depth, something we've really been missing for such a long time. That is going to carry us through the season. In Europe, in all the cup competitions, you can field a really strong team in every game possible coming forward. And we're doing a shrewd piece of business as we have done over this summer transfer window, albeit it's been late, has worked a bit of genius in terms of Tim Snyden and West Ham. They're obviously doing a job together. They're obviously David Moyes, and they're obviously doing a job together. So fair play to them. Last but not least, these are the 5 things we learned. Moyes ball works. Can't even believe I'm saying it, but it's so bloody true. What is Moyes ball? What is it that Moyes says? Winning. That's what I do. I tell you what. When Moyes came in and kept us up that season, and then we progressed and finished 6th and qualified for the Europa League, and then finished 7th and qualified for the Europa Conference League, but finished and got beat in the semi-finals of the Europa League. Then we finished in the position we finished last year in the Premier League, but we won the conference, going in as pot 1, number 1 seed in the Europa draw this Friday coming. That is what, whether you like him or not, Moyes has given us West Ham fans. 3 seasons of Europe on the trot. Days like yesterday to remember for a lifetime. Why is it to remember for a lifetime? Days like yesterday don't come very often because that's the first time in 13 attempts West Ham have beat Brighton. Moyes ball done that. That might frustrate some people. It might not. It might sound like I'm getting carried away. It might not. But essentially, I look at the whole package. I've been successful as a West Ham fan in the last 2 to 3 years. Have I enjoyed it? Absolutely. I said it when me and Holly did on the member show. We had a private show in there for all the members, and we said, would you swap with Brighton right now? Everyone goes on about the model. Would you swap and have a manager like them who's forward thinking, playing a new style of play, or the current situation that West Ham are in? I wouldn't swap what has happened to West Ham over the last 3 years to take on Brighton's situation at all. Not a single ounce of me does, or would I? No freaking way. No way. Moyes ball works. Possibly pains people to hear it, possibly pains people to say it, but it has worked and it is working. I think some of the signings he's going to bring in is definitely going to have to change some of the style of play. I think he is going to come a bit more flamboyant moving forward, especially because we're going to have some really exciting players coming into our midst, and playing players like Paqueta and Kudus together really is exciting. And adding some of those elements that I just mentioned there about the 5 things we learned about the Brighton game. And you've not even mentioned players like Fornals. The energy that he brought on covers the tick box of quality and squad depth. The guy's fighting for a place in this team, and we can't lose that. We can't lose that energy. There seems to be a real unity within this squad. There seems to be a real unity within this team. And that could be said a lot for David Moyes and what he's trying to achieve with this club. Who knows? That's just my opinion. 5 things we learned from the Brighton 1, West Ham 3 game. If you enjoyed it, put it in the comments. If you haven't, hit the thumbs down, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, you name it. Hopefully Russ will be back later on and giving you a little cheeky player rating as well. Let me know your thoughts. And I'm still buzzing, absolutely buzzing. Come on, you Irons.